He was 0.849 seconds away, just 0.849 seconds from the podium he desperately needed. And when the checkered flag dropped, Lewis Hamilton didn't celebrate. He didn't smile. He got on the radio, and he let Ferrari know exactly how he felt. Now, days later, Fred Vasseur has finally broken his silence. But here's the real question. Is what he said going to fix Ferrari's biggest problem, or does it prove things are worse than we thought? Stay with me till the end of this video because I'm going to break down exactly what happened at Zandvoort, exactly what Hamilton said behind the scenes, and exactly why this one race might define the rest of Ferrari's entire season. Let's set the scene. Zandvoort, the final Dutch Grand Prix under the current hosting agreement. A circuit carved into sand dunes, narrow, brutal, and nearly impossible to overtake on. And walking into this weekend, the championship picture already looked grim for Ferrari. Kimi Antonelli, the Mercedes wonderkid, was leading the standings by 50 points over Hamilton. George Russell was breathing down Hamilton's neck from third. For a seven-time world champion chasing history, chasing that mythical 8th title, this was not a weekend to slip up. So here's the first question I want you to sit with. Did Ferrari actually give Hamilton a car capable of fighting for the win? Practice said yes. Hamilton was fourth fastest, just under 2/10 off the pace. Promising, real promising. But then qualifying happened, and everything changed. Neither Hamilton nor teammate Charles Leclerc could crack the top 6, both stuck on the third row. On a track where track position is basically everything, that's not just disappointing, that's a race compromised before it even starts. And here's the twist nobody expected. Hamilton actually called Ferrari's setup changes unbelievable. He was genuinely excited. But Leclerc? Leclerc walked away calling his own session less than ideal. Same team, same car concept, two completely different realities. Doesn't that make you wonder what's really happening inside that Ferrari garage? Now let's get to Sunday. Race day. The day everything came to a head. Lando Norris took his second consecutive victory, holding off Antonelli by roughly 10 seconds. But the story that had everyone talking wasn't about first place, it was about third. George Russell was defending. Hamilton was hunting. Lap after lap, the gap refused to close. Then, late in the race, chaos struck. Williams drivers Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz collided, debris scattered across the track, and a virtual safety car was deployed. It was Russell's lifeline. And when racing resumed, he held on. Third place, Russell. Fourth place, Hamilton. Less than a second between them. Let that sink in for a second. Less than 1 second. That's how close Hamilton came to a podium that could have changed the entire momentum of his championship fight. And that's exactly why what happened on the radio matters so much. Throughout the race, Hamilton's frustration was audible. He was pushing, searching for a way past Russell, and it just wasn't coming. His irritation reportedly peaked when he caught up to his own teammate Leclerc mid-race. Now here's a question worth asking. When a 7-time world champion sounds that frustrated live on team radio, is that just competitive fire? Or is that a driver who's starting to lose faith in the decisions being made above him? After the race, Hamilton didn't explode publicly, but he didn't sugarcoat it either. He called his Sunday definitely frustrating and revealed he'd be taking his concerns about Ferrari's in-race management offline, meaning this conversation wasn't happening in front of cameras, it was happening behind closed doors, out of public view. But then he said something that should worry every Ferrari fan watching. He compared Ferrari's hesitation in swapping drivers between strategies to how his former team, Mercedes, used to operate. Think about that. A driver who left Mercedes to chase a championship at Ferrari, essentially saying his old team might have handled this better. That's not a small comment, that's a signal. And yet, plot twist, Hamilton also said he was still proud of Ferrari despite the dicey radio messages. So which is it? Frustrated or proud? Maybe both. Maybe that's exactly what makes this situation so complicated. Now let's talk about Fred Vasseur, because as team principal, the buck stops with him. And here's the number that should really concern him. For the second race in a row, Ferrari failed to land either driver on the podium, despite having genuinely strong race pace. Let that sink in. The speed was there. The execution wasn't. So here's the million-dollar question. If your car has the pace to fight for a podium 2 weekends in a row, but you keep falling just short, is that bad luck? Or is that a strategy problem that keeps repeating itself? Ferrari's own post-race statement pointed the finger at Saturday's qualifying, saying that on a track where overtaking is nearly impossible, grid position basically decided the outcome before the race even started. Both Hamilton and Leclerc gained just 1 position each. Both challenged for the podium until literally the final lap. But challenged for and achieved are 2 completely different headlines. Now let's talk about the pressure Vasseur is actually under, because it's bigger than just one bad Sunday. Ever since Vasseur took charge at Maranello, the promise has always been the same. Rebuild the operational side of Ferrari, sharpen the strategy calls, and finally end the team's championship drought. And to be fair, there have been signs of progress. But compare that to what's happening on the other side of the paddock. Toto Wolff at Mercedes has built a team that's currently dominating both championships, with Antonelli looking like a generational talent straight out of the gate. James Vowles at Williams has quietly transformed a backmarker into a competitive midfield force. Even McLaren, under Andrea Stella, has turned Norris into a 2-time consecutive race winner this season alone. So where does that leave Vasseur? Every missed podium, every hesitant radio call, every strategic what-if gets magnified because the rest of the paddock is proving that smart leadership translates directly into results on track. Fans aren't just comparing Ferrari's execution to their own potential anymore, they're comparing it to what their direct rivals are achieving with arguably less raw pace. That's the kind of pressure that doesn't just disappear after one strong statement to the press. That's the kind of pressure that builds, race after race, until something has to give, whether that's a change in strategy philosophy, a change in personnel, or in the most dramatic scenario, a change at the very top. Now here's where the story gets even bigger than just one race weekend. Ferrari's gap to Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship actually widened after Zandvoort. And in the drivers' standings, Hamilton's title bid is being described as faltering. George Russell has now pulled level with Hamilton on points. Read that again. The driver who was brought to Ferrari to deliver an 8th World Championship is now fighting just to hold second place in the standings, let alone catch the championship leader. Doesn't that completely change how you should be watching the rest of this season? This isn't about one bad Sunday anymore. This is about mounting pressure inside Maranello, mounting pressure on Vasseur's leadership, and a championship window that's closing faster than anyone at Ferrari wants to admit. So what happens next? What does Fred Vasseur actually say when the cameras are rolling and the questions get uncomfortable? Does he defend his strategy team, insisting the results will come if they just stay the course? Does he admit there's a real problem in how Ferrari manages split strategies between 2 title-caliber drivers? Or does he do what team principals under pressure often do? Stay diplomatic, promise improvement, and dodge the specifics that fans are actually demanding answers to? Whatever he says, one thing is undeniable. The heat inside Ferrari is rising, and Hamilton isn't just driving the car anymore, he's watching every single call from the pit wall, measuring it against what he experienced during his championship-winning years at Mercedes. That comparison alone should be setting off alarm bells in Maranello. Here's something else to think about. Hamilton is racing against the clock in more ways than one. He's chasing history. An 8th world title that would make him statistically the greatest driver of all time. But you don't win championships on raw speed alone, you win them through flawless execution, race after race after race. And right now, execution is the exact thing bleeding points away from Ferrari. Every 10th lost in qualifying, every hesitant strategy call during a race, every podium that slips away by less than a second, it all compounds over a 23-race season. And with Antonelli looking more comfortable at the front every single weekend, Ferrari simply does not have the luxury of repeating this mistake. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Fred Vasseur can actually fix this before Ferrari's season completely unravels? Is Hamilton's frustration a warning sign of something deeper and more serious, or just the normal turbulence of a champion adapting to a new team? And the question that really matters, can Lewis Hamilton still realistically fight for that 8th world title this year? Or did Zandvoort just quietly end his championship hopes for 2026? Type your answer in the comments right now. I genuinely want to know whether you're Team Ferrari, Team Mercedes, or just here for the drama. And if this video helped you actually understand what's going on behind the scenes with Hamilton, Ferrari, and Vasseur, do three things for me. Like this video so more people see the real story. Subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. And turn on notifications because after a weekend like this, trust me, the next few races are going to be explosive. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.